hopefully, with these skull fragments now in a more usable form, we'll be able to do a facial reconstruction that will be a very accurate replica of what this young lady actually looked like. What you're able to see here is a digital representation from the CT scan of exactly what you see if you hold the bone in your hand, including the knife cuts on the bone. Each of the different pieces was scanned separately, so we're able to combine all of these images and one by one add them into our scan. So we'll add the right malar bone, add the maxilla with teeth on one side, put the central incisor. So what you're looking at now is all of the bones in their proper anatomic position that we were able to retrieve from this burial site.
And a couple weeks later, we received this digitally reconstructed skull of the girl who died more than 400 years ago, whose skull was in many, many pieces. Zhiwang, his first responsibility in terms of sculpting was to basically demonstrate the forensic side. And so with all the tissue depth markers in clay, we had two copies of this, one as a reference and one to actually work on. So one essentially became the armature, and he began to establish all the tissue depth and muscle depth and all of that. And before you know it, we were then sending that information back to Doug and Kari to make sure that we were okay based on this particular skull. And so our first approval came with the kind of science of forensic anthropology and the forensic sculpting. We're about to get into the last millimeter of the production process, which is painting. And in painting, you really create the sensibility of that individual, where we have a kind of a set of colorways with respect to her skin color and her hair. We're talking about a fairly small bust, so there's not a lot of surface area. And we're also talking about the creation of an impeccable object that is the representation of this young girl. It's not her, it's not an exact reproduction, because obviously there are aspects of this that are going to defy our ability to reconstruct this girl at this point. But I think that this reconstruction will give people a sense of what people did look like 400 years ago. They will tie the image of this young girl to a moment in time which has been well documented with respect to original colonies.